Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Friday morning to you all. Hope you folks are doing awesome out there this morning and having a fantastic start to your day. Great ending to your week, beginning to your weekend. Here to bring you the latest on what's going to happen weather-wise for your Friday. We'll speak on a couple things out there. All in all, thank goodness, today is going to be much more calm compared to the last several days. Of course, we've been dealing with severe weather all work week long, but we're going to end our work week much more calm. Just more so widespread rains that's falling out there for certain areas of the country. Not everybody, certain areas. Now, we will run the risk of a strong to severe storm or two out west, and we'll speak a little bit on that. But like I said, all in all, much more calm day when you compare it to Monday through Thursday of this week. So we'll break that down first. After we do that, we'll kind of scoot ahead and we'll speak on a powerful storm system that will bring another multi-day severe weather event across areas of the country. I think it'll start in the plains and it'll go into the Midwest, the Mississippi Valley area. So we'll speak on that. We'll talk about what's driving that. Of course, there's a lot of chatter out there in the weather community about this being a more high-end event, more of your like classic sort of plains events that we typically see in like the Tornado Alley region, but we need to figure this out. We're not calling this a tornado outbreak yet. Maybe other people are, but we're not calling it nothing like that. We need to figure out the details on that, really try to figure out what's driving this. What are the kinematic, thermodynamic factors really overlapping to create an area that we really and truly need to watch out for. So we'll speak on that. We'll talk about the latest from the Storm Prediction Center and all of those good stuff. But I can tell you, this will be a heavy topic into this weekend. We'll break this down a little bit more detailed as we get just a little bit closer to this. So if you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. So let's get rocking and rolling. So we got a lot of rain spinning around out here across the northeast areas of the Ohio Valley, even the Great Lakes region, southern Ontario, Quebec, seeing a lot of rain with this system. Huge broad area of low pressure still spinning around up here in eastern North America. In the middle of the country, pretty quiet, calm conditions, and we do have a little bit of a flow out here across the northwestern U.S. with a system starting to enter the picture out west. This will bring enough flow to pose a very small risk of some strong to severe storms. I don't think, no outbreak or no significant risk by any means, but certainly a risk, that's for sure. But that's what's going on right now. Thankfully, we're not waking up to any sort of strong to severe storms across the southeast. Much more calm conditions. Dry air has moved in, and it's a much more pleasant start to your morning out here for sure across the southeastern and southern U.S. If we move to the watches and warnings, wind advisories across the 10 areas. Flood watch is continuing up here for areas of Indiana and Ohio. And we do have some scattered flood watches up across the I-95 corridor all the way up into interior sections of New England. But if you notice, the southern U.S. is much more quiet. Some red flag warnings out there. Some fire danger issues continuing with very dry conditions, breezy conditions across the south central U.S. And we do have a couple wind alerts out here in the southwest. Winter weather advisories ahead of a system that really takes over the weekend. This will actually be the system that brings the severe weather across the middle of the country. Bit my tongue there. That was kind of weird. Haven't done that in a long time. But some winter weather advisories across the Sierra Nevada, higher elevations of California, with moisture just going to move in, a little bit of cold air, just enough, even for this time of the year, to bring some snow in those higher elevations. The excessive rainfall outlook, we do have this pocket we'll watch out for here in Maine. In yellow, that is at least a 15% chance of rainfall exceeding a flash flood guidance. Everywhere else, though, no real risk of flooding, so that's good. But this is the good news here. We look at the Storm Prediction Center, just a general risk of thunderstorms across areas of the eastern U.S., but we do have this marginal risk here, level 1 out of 5 across areas of Idaho, even Montana, eastern Oregon, and in northern Nevada. But the good news is no slight, no enhanced, no moderate risk out here. Much more calm day across the country, much more stable day as we don't have the ingredients really for strong to severe storms across the middle and eastern portion of the country. The southeast today, it's going to be pretty quiet. A nice day. It's a pleasant morning out there, a little bit more dry air that's oozed in, kind of more so your typical April morning. What you'll notice, though, from the northwest, some northwest flow will move in from the northwest, and you'll start to get some rain showers across probably Kentucky. Almost called it Kentucky. Kentucky later on this morning into this afternoon. We'll get just some widespread rain showers, nothing too crazy at all. And then these will get all the way down into eastern Tennessee, western Virginia. We'll certainly get these up in West Virginia, that's for sure. And they'll try to get all the way to the southern Alps, the higher elevations of Tennessee, North Carolina. And we'll see if they'll break containment. And I do think that, the mountains of these regions will squeeze out most of the moisture. But I do also think that some of these showers will break containment and get east of the Alps. So we will probably get some showers that will drift across the Carolinas today. It's just who sees it, and I really think it'll be more so North Carolina. But if you notice, we do got this area of more heavier showers, maybe even some thunderstorms that could get going later on this evening that could affect maybe areas of like Columbus, not Columbus, I meant to say like Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. I've been struggling with my videos the last week, guys. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been struggling to get going, and I think I've told you this many times in my videos. The longer it takes me to get going when I first start the video, the more I mess up when I do get going. So if you notice I've been tripping up, I'm just kind of in a weird funk right now. They normally last a week or two. So hopefully I'm at the end of it. It's been quite annoying in the morning starting these videos. But you get later in the evening, some heavier showers, maybe even some storm activity, some rumbles of thunder. I think at worst, these do produce some small hail with a little bit more colder air aloft. So don't be surprised you get that in these areas, kind of the Central Alps region. But we get into tomorrow morning, I think this is pretty much done. Waking up for your Saturday morning, nice conditions. I think it's going to be a beautiful weekend for most of the Southeast for sure. Northeast, it is not a pretty start to your Friday. We are dealing with some heavy rain like in the Boston area. This heavy rain will continue to push, kind of a 1-2 punch, if you will. Some heavy rain will begin to take over most of Maine. No real snow from this. It's just getting to that time of the year where you see a lot more rain, a lot less snow, as far as you're just getting deeper in the year and you're pretty much getting further away from winter. But you see this huge area of low pressure up here in areas of Quebec, Ontario, spinning around. Back end rain continues to kind of funnel down into the lower Michigan region. Really eastern Michigan, lower Michigan will get some rain. Widespread rain will continue to get it this morning. This will wrap all the way down to Ohio. Kind of in the middle of this, it's kind of going to be a round of thunderstorms that might sweep through later this morning into early this afternoon throughout New York State, eventually trying to make it all the way into like Vermont, western Mass, western Connecticut. I think some rumbles of thunder is possible with this, maybe some very small hail. We'll see what happens. And then this will kind of wrap all the way back up into Canada. And then back behind this, a little bit of cold air tries to wrap in, and just a solid kind of northwest or northerly flow of moisture will wrap behind this low pressure. And this will just be a chilly rain, but we will try to mix with a little bit of snow overnight tonight, just off Lake Erie here in southwestern New York and northwestern PA. We'll see what happens with that. Could get a couple inches of wet snow. And then we're waking up tomorrow morning with maybe just some rain and snow showers mixed across areas of the southern tier, getting into the Adirondacks, and we could get some snow showers across the Adirondacks probably tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. As far as rainfall from this is how much to expect. More heavier rainfall totals up here in Maine and New Hampshire. So, pause the screen if you need to there. But if we look at snow, check this out. A little area of wet snow possible, even the Tuck Hill Plateau, maybe a couple inches of wet snow. But northern PA, 1 to as much as maybe 2.5, 3 inches of snow is possible in this area of PA right here. And southwestern New York off Lake Erie, right here in this region, a couple inches of wet snow is very possible. South central U.S., not a whole lot to speak on today. It is a nice weather day. I'm not going to stay on this very long. We get into this evening. Enjoy your Friday evening. Got any outdoor activities today will be perfect for it. Nothing going on. Enjoy it. You got a couple nice days ahead of you before we do have that severe weather event that begins to emerge for your Monday. But I do think the weekend will be pretty nice. North central U.S. pretty much the same way too. We'll continue to deal with this wraparound moisture on the western flank of this area of low pressure. And we'll continue just to deal with some pesky rain showers, light rain across eastern sections of Michigan, maybe a little rain shower activity in northern Indiana. Could even get some thunderstorms that are very possible in like eastern and central Indiana later on today. But not everybody will see that. That'll clear on out by the time you get into the overnight hours. Very nice overnight hour period all the way into tomorrow morning. A little bit of moisture you might be waking up to here in northwest Minnesota. But, 95% of this entire region is a pretty nice day today. Western U.S., we do have a system entering the picture. This will bring a mid-level flow right over the western U.S., and this will aid in some thunderstorm development, more than likely in eastern Oregon. Might sneak all the way up into southeastern Washington State, but you can see these storms kind of right here in this region. In fact, let's just go on and get a little bit closer to this. Let's see, northwestern U.S. Here we go. You see these thunderstorms right here in eastern Oregon? Very possible. Could get a thunderstorm, like I said, all the way into southeastern Washington State. A little bit of a low moving through. And we definitely could get some elevated storms in this region. No significant risk or anything like that, but you do have a risk of very small hail and some gusty winds with this. It's very possible. And then you can see more so widespread rains trying to move into just doing this on the fly, guys, so never mind me, into the southwestern U.S. As you can tell, you're getting to about just after midnight, more so widespread rains moving into the California coastline. Could get a little bit of shower activity all the way down to the southern California coastline. But by the time we're waking up tomorrow morning, snow begins to fall in the Sierra Nevada, higher elevations of northern California. We just start to get some banding of rain pretty much all the way down the California coastline. Nothing too crazy, no significant flooding risk, I don't think, with this system. This system becomes a much bigger deal as we get into the next couple days, and this kind of cruises across kind of the central and southern Rockies region. So temperatures today, a little pocket of cooler air because of these because of these rains that are falling across the Ohio Valley. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s. It could be quite a chilly day in the mountains of the Appalachian region for sure. Temperatures might struggle out the 40s in certain areas, but a very nice day in the Carolinas, the southern U.S., much more drier conditions, not really humid, a little pocket of warmer air where you are able to kind of warm up behind the first round of rain and ahead of the second. So you might get into the 70s in some of the valley regions of like Vermont, New Hampshire today. So we'll see what happens. Maybe a very nice day, kind of a sneaky nice day between two rounds of rain today. But the middle of the country, nice 60s and 70s. Can't complain about that. And then the western U.S., well above average. You got some nice conditions out here. You're getting downright warm, downright hot out here in certain sections of the Southwest. But a very nice day out west. Warmer temperatures for sure. So enjoy your nice Friday temperature-wise. But moving ahead, we do have severe weather to talk about once again. We will start off by briefly mentioning Sunday, because I know we got some viewers here in the Ohio Valley. There is a level 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather. A little bit of some mid-level flow, going to create just enough lift for thunderstorms here in this region. So we could run the risk of some strong to severe storms for our Sunday across areas of Indiana, almost the entire state of Ohio, and almost the entire state of Pennsylvania, sections of northern West Virginia. So we'll see if this tweaks a little bit, upgrades, downgrades, but we will watch Sunday. Don't want to completely ignore this, but this doesn't have anything to do with our system moving in. And then we get into Monday, which is still considered day 4. A 30% risk of severe weather in the orange. In the yellow, that's a 15% risk. So what this is at day 4 is basically a level 3 out of 5 risk. When you have a 30% risk issued past day 3, that's basically an enhanced risk. Really, it doesn't matter what day it is, whether it's day 1 through 3 or 4 through 8. If they drop a 30% risk of severe weather, that immediately warrants an enhanced risk. And in this case, you still got it. And we've had it over the last couple of days. They've been highly confident in this, and they have not downgraded this. Now, there has been some changes, but we're going to wait to see how things shake out today before we speak heavily on every single change. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to watch this. But as of now, Monday is still expected to be a high-end severe weather day, especially in this orange area. And then we move into day 5, which is Tuesday. Okay? This could be just as big of a deal as Monday. We just got to watch. In fact, they do mention in the discussion that they it doesn't say they thought about upgrading this. They just said that, it's possible they could upgrade this to an enhanced risk. So as we wake up tomorrow morning, I wouldn't be surprised one bit. We get a 30% area for day 4, which this is at day 5 right now, for day 4 for this region, somewhere inside of this. But as of now, just a massive 15% risk of severe weather all the way up into Wisconsin, southeastern corner of Minnesota, goes right through the Midwest, all the way down into portions of the Mississippi Valley, all the way down to northeast Texas. This just means there's a slight risk at day 5, a 15% risk of severe weather within 25 miles of any given location. So what's driving this? It's this little booger right here. This is the system. Notice this huge ridge over basically the entire lower 48 just about. This ridge right now is already really in place out west. This is what's going to cause such a nice day temperature-wise across the western U.S., central U.S. today. But this area in blue is an area of lower pressure. You see that lower pressure over the northeastern U.S. too that we're finally getting rid of this weekend. And then the area that's in this case, orange, is a big area of high pressure, a ridge. But this is the area watch. Watch as this moves as we get into our Sunday. Sunday morning, it's over the southwest. Start to get into Sunday evening, and then we get into Monday morning. This is basically a full-fledged cut-off upper low. Mid to upper low swinging across the southwest. What this is doing is at the base of this is bringing in low-level moisture from, in general, the southwest and bringing in a flow from the southwest. That's what these little things do. Flow around area of low pressure goes like this. We talk about this a lot during hurricane season, and it's no real different with any other kind of weather, whether we're talking about severe weather, winter weather. So as this continues to kind of make its way very slowly, drift across the southern tier of the country, in this case the southwestern U.S., we get into Monday afternoon, and this looks to become a little bit more amplified. And we're in Monday evening at this point, and this is bringing a flow right into this area. As you can tell, right into this region. So we're probably going to have a mid-level jet streak going right over this area. This is going to probably create the initiation of some storms. All right, now watch as this area blue, area of low pressure, continues to make its way. This starts to get somewhat negatively tilted at this point. It's taking on that tilt like this. Okay, so typically when it does this stuff like this, this starts to become a more stronger system, more high impact system. So I do think, Monday night into Tuesday morning, we're going to be dealing with some pretty significant severe weather even then too. I don't think this is just going to happen during the day. I think it'll be happening overnight too. And then by the time we get into Tuesday afternoon, you're starting to get a little bit of a connection with the northern stream. But this little compact area of energy is already doing its thing. It doesn't really need much help with this. But you can tell it's tilting. This is probably bringing severe weather into this region, right into here, into the Midwest, the Mississippi Valley, and etc. So this little area in blue is what's going to cause all the mischief early next week. And then this continues, and I think this weekend's. And I don't think Wednesday will be a big day for severe weather. I do think we might still have to watch like the Ohio Valley. But all in all, I don't think it'll be a big day. But, you wrap this up by looking at all the ingredients. And, you can see the upper low right here. And you see the flow going around the base and the southeastern side of this. And we keep this going. We're getting into Monday. Here comes the flow. Remember, I was kind of drawing the line at the bottom of that area of blue on the screen just a second ago. Here it is. See that mid-level flow? That 60 to 70 knot mid-level jet riding right over areas of the southern high plains right here into the central plains. That's the exit region of this mid-level jet. So this entire area is going to have plenty of lift for thunderstorms right into here. And then we start to make it into Tuesday. You start to get in an even more increased mid-level jet, pushing over 80 knots at this point. And then we start to get into Tuesday afternoon. And look at this jet streak, mid-level jet streak right over this region. This is creating a lot of wind energy Tuesday afternoon across areas of the Midwest, Mississippi Valley, and a lot of lift for thunderstorms. So you're probably going to have, this is why you have such a massive broad area risk of severe storms. Because you have tons of lift in the atmosphere. And then somewhat begins the weekend. And, we could get a severe weather threat lingering all the way into Wednesday morning. But, next thing you would look at is thermodynamics. This is low-level moisture. And already Monday afternoon, there's already a moisture return all the way across the middle of the country. All right, and then we get into Sunday afternoon. Not really a severe weather day, but still, you already got deep moisture bubbling up all the way down here in Texas, but you already got dew points into the 50s all the way into the plains. And then we start to get into Sunday afternoon. You got deep moisture ahead of the main show, which is the next day, Monday. Dew points already creeping into the 60s. So the thing that's worrisome is that you already got moisture building ahead, a couple days ahead of this system. You don't need like a 12 to 24 hour rapid response of moisture return. It's already going to be building ahead of this system. So we get into Monday morning, deep moisture already setting in place. And then we get into Monday afternoon, where we have to begin to watch for strong to severe storms, dry lines setting up, maybe a little bit of mixing between two air masses, moist and dry. And we got dew points well into the 60s, creeping all the way up into Kansas, Missouri. So tons of moist air with that flow going right over it that I just showed you on the last panel, and a very favorable thermodynamic atmosphere in this area. And then we continue to have the amplification of this moist sector and the broadening of it north, and we continue just to have the ingredients. And then we get into our Tuesday, and we get dew points riding up the Mississippi Valley, especially points west of it. Look at this little slither right in here into the 70s. And we got, pools of moist air well into the 60s, dew points well into the 60s, all the way up into Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Great Lakes region. And this is going to set the stage for a severe weather event for Tuesday also. And, one of the last things we'll look at is energy, the CAPE levels, mixed layer CAPE from the Euro. And, we start to get into Monday. You have a ton of fuel because of all this low-level moisture already building ahead. Already on the global models, you got CAPE levels reaching over 2,000 joules per kilogram, basically all across the plains right in here. On the moist side, this dry line right in here, dry air over here, stable air, moist air here, more unstable air. You already got a ton of energy showing up on the global models. And it gets even more intense as you start to get into the evening hours of Tuesday. Like when the sun's setting, I'm honestly starting to think that the severe weather threat will be worse Monday as the sun is setting and after. But you got, pockets of storm fuel reaching over 3,000 joules per kilogram in this area. And then we start to get into Tuesday, still enough fuel in the atmosphere. I know this doesn't look like as much, but that is plenty of fuel with all the other ingredients that's going to be in place. And then last thing you look at is, the European, as far as the model simulation of what the radar could look like. But just note that this is just, global models. They're not short-range models. They're not going to show a great high-resolution output, if you will, of what these storms are going to look like. But there's the surface low that's going to develop off the strengthening of this trough. But, you start to get, this is Monday afternoon. You notice on the Euro, surface low starting to ride into western Nebraska. Not much initiation of storms in this enhanced risk area. It really takes, as we start to get into Monday evening, there's some storms down here. Storms right up into here. But then it really takes us getting all the way into like the middle of the night, Monday night, for us to start to get some big time storms. But I'm not saying this is exactly the way this is going to play out either. We need to watch. Probably going to get a little bit of snow in the Rockies, just like we typically do with these big time severe weather events across the plains. We typically get some sort of snow event in the Rockies on the cold side of this. And this thing really begins to strengthen. And there's your risk of severe weather, basically all the way up from the north central U.S., all the way down the Mississippi Valley, all the way down to northeast Texas, as you got a low right here and plenty of ingredients for severe weather out ahead of it. So weird look from the radar, but of course we're not going to know until we get into short range models what's going to be the true structure of these storms. But I really think Monday and Tuesday have the opportunity to be a high-end severe weather risk days. So that's all I got. Thank y'all for tuning in. Have a great start to your weekend. God bless all y'all, and I'll talk to you soon.